Something that might be lost on veterans of Terraria is just how difficult that pre-mech stage of Terraria actually is when you're trying to figure out things all on your own. My friend Travis has been doing a totally blind run of Terraria with no help from the wiki and only a minimal amount of help from myself, and after nearly 10 hours in hard mode, he has hardly upgraded his gear or progressed at all. He only just now found adamantite.
And the guide is not here. Great, I can't ask him about adamantite.
So what does it actually take for a new player to progress to the point that they can defeat the mechs? Let's find out. Even without the guide around to tell him what adamantite can be used for, he knows it has to be useful for something. He's just not aware of the adamantite forge yet, and so his crafting options for the stuff are quite limited.
I could make an adamantite beam. Look at that.
With little else to do, he checked the achievements, and he has been looking at the Brain of Cthulhu for a while. He was about to go on a quest for the Crimson when I decided I should prompt him to look at the world creation screen, as it's something he didn't encounter because I'm the one who created it and am hosting the world.
Is it either or is it both?
What do you think?
Both? It looks like it's one or the other, but not both. Okay, well I guess it's both. Or one or the other. So I guess the big Brain of Cthulhu wouldn't be available in a corruption world?
With the brain not being an option, the other achievements he's looking at are all jungle related.
But I have adamantite now, but I don't exactly know what to do with that yet. The guide is gone, so I figure let's go to the jungle, give him a chance to come back.
Unfortunately for Travis, the guide will not be returning because he has no available housing. Several of the NPCs are still sticking around simply because they haven't died yet, but I still wish that there was something that'd tell him how the corruption is a problem. I guess there is the suitable housing button and what have you, but because these NPCs are still living here, it hasn't even occurred to him that there might be a problem. But onto the jungle we go, where I ask him how he plans on powering up. Anything you're thinking of doing to try and power up while you're out here?
I don't know if there's another step to powering up other than armor and tools.
Water and fire. Moon and sun.
There we
Turtle!
go. Turtle die! And dead.
Oh, whoa, where did you come from?
Oh, where?
Where
Where did he come from?
From the sky!
Turtles are a menace of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Batman should have been Turtle Man. Here, fish, have some water. You don't like water, do you?
Oh my goodness! Ah!
Oh, he's setting you on fire. I'm gonna put the fire out. You'll be okay. I'll save you. I don't want to be in the jungle anymore. Let's go under the jungle.
Yeah,
I hear there's stuff down here.
Still jungle, but... He went to the jungle to fill out more of his achievements, all of which he can't actually accomplish at this point in time. But in the meantime, he did at least fill out more of the jungle on his map. Nothing was really accomplished, nor was anything found, or at least nothing that improved his equipment in any way.
Oh, yeah.
He lives.
Oh, he dropped a hand.
Hey, Travis.
What?
Do you need a hand? That was so dumb, but I love it.
Very good. What? Bad guys are.
Now, he hasn't really collected a lot of adamantite at this point, only enough to have a few ore and maybe make a bar or two, and yet he continued to walk right past very obvious and large veins of adamantite. I remember early game he had a hard time telling the difference between ores, and he showed an apparent inability to tell the difference between adamantite and orichalcum. Considering their color differences, I have a hard time explaining this unless Terraria right now is just so happening to make apparent a certain level of color blindness that Travis might have. Who's to say? It could just be that my eyes are trained to see the differences at this point, while he is just seeing something that looks sort of pink, and his mind draws the assumption that it's orichalcum. I would mind the adamantite occasionally when he was just a little off screen, just so he'd have a little more to work with, and this whole time down here, he's been trying to find anything that's, quote, cool.
It's a funky looking tree biome underneath us here. The red. Something cool.
He found what he was after.
Aha!
Knew how I respond to the devil. Gun.
Hail!
They can't tempt me if he's pumped full of lead.
The Ashwood Forest was a little bit of a disappointment for him. He found it and thought it was cool, but also misplaced his axe so he couldn't break a tree. Other than that, this biome is really just an aesthetic change. I wish there was a little something more to it than that. Don't get me wrong, I love that they added this bit of flavor and variance to the underworld, but maybe a new enemy or drop or something would be cool. The Ashwood is nice and all, but only really useful for the don't dig up seed and get fixed boys seed, or maybe for building, because actually Ashwood's really great for building. With the trees not impressing, he goes home. He's been gone for a long time and so is shocked to see that the guide hadn't showed up, but this was a good thing for him.
Is the corruption just too much? They can't use a house that's corrupted? Do I need to build more islands of habitation? I do kind of like them. That's a theory. And you know how I am with theories. I don't like this corruption. I don't know what to do with it either. I really don't know why it's spreading other than just the world is naturally evil. That's what it is. We need to build a church.
Oh, oh my goodness, Travis. You come up with the best ideas.
That'll fix all the problems.
Before making housing, he figured he'd see if he could find some recipes on his own. While doing this, he happened to spot the 100 copper that he could craft with 1 silver. Earlier in this run, he wanted to buy ammo at 10 copper a pop and thought it was really expensive. Seeing this made him realize he could buy ammo cheaply. And after buying the ammunition, a light bulb turned on, resulting in him having a much better grasp as to how money works in Terraria. This is probably something that most people figure out on their own relatively easily. It's just been interesting seeing how long it took for Travis to learn this.
It automatically converts silver. That's good to know. Okay, so I have a theory that corruption is bad for housing market. So, and I have corruption on my floor in here.
Really hurts that home sale value.
Yes, it's kind of like mold in your house. This is not good.
Purple mold.
He was going to build, but there was a blood moon, and he really enjoys these, just for the sake of fighting off the enemies. Not sure if it's because he enjoys it or feels compelled to do this for some reason, but when it ended, he got to work on building these 2 houses, which have one rather large problem. He doesn't get how the background signifies the biome he's in, and so thinks that putting his houses in the sky prevents them from being considered corruption. He just barely didn't build them high enough for the game to consider these not corrupt, but also Travis made the floor out of ebonstone, weirdly. Maybe he doesn't remember that these blocks belong to the corruption, maybe he thinks it doesn't count as corruption since it's a block that he's placing, I don't know, but the whole thing is just a comedy of errors. While waiting for the guy to move in, he came across the hollow. Here he had another light bulb moment. Realizing that the hollow used to be corruption, he got the impression that the hollow appears by killing a boss, like killing bosses purifies the world of the corruption and replaces it with the hollow. A strange and fascinating idea, but unfortunately inaccurate for, well, any boss except the wall.
I'm pretty sure this stuff showed up once I defeated the wall.
Yep,
I think
when it appeared.
Does defeating major bosses help fix the world of corruption?
When he returned home again to an empty house, he happened to learn a little something because of the ebonstone he'd placed. He was surprised to see the grass he'd planted between the houses was now corrupt, making him conclude that the sky was corrupt just like the ground. It's sort of correct, but I think the way he's imagining it will lead him to not try to build more housing higher above the corruption, which would suck. But his focus on the guide and belief that he's necessary, I was pretty sure would lead him to figuring it out eventually.
No, I have no clue why this piece of grass is fine and this piece of grass is bad. Is there like some sort of bastion beacon or something that says no corruption here? It's obviously not because it's my house, because my house is moldy.
After a break, he decided that he'd not think about the guide for a bit and try to take on a boss.
Well, I have all these potions in my inventory, so I was going to try to use some of them to try to beat a boss or two.
We look like the characters of some sort of like teen animated series.
Yeah, we do. We're the T-team.
T-team.
Yeah.
What does the T stand for?
Terrific twos.
So are there 2 T's in our superhero name?
After collecting several mechanical skulls from enemies, he decided that he'd be the boss he'd fight.
I took spelunking potions too. That's funny. Ow, I don't want to get done in by that thing. No, not the corruptor.
He's coming after me, Travis.
Okay.
He's coming after you now. Ah! Drop from the saw. No!
Stop it. Wow. It looked like a vacuum was just chasing me and I was just trying to run away. So I've come a long way since I got into hard mode, but obviously not that far.
This realization is what made him decide he needed help.
Okay, so tell me about the guide. What is up with the guide?
And so I explained to him that NPCs can't live in the corruption and how to tell which biome he was in. Without the guide to help him, he has been stuck in a cycle of collecting things he didn't know what to do with. The thing about hard mode is that a lot of gear has to be crafted, and many of the recipes require at least one somewhat unique item. Very few things are crafted with just the regular drops like souls, ichor, or cursed flames, but even if they are, Travis has spent almost no time in the underground hollow or corruption. In fact, he hasn't even been to the underground hollow yet. I'm not even sure it's even occurred to him that there might be an underground hollow at this point. And why would he spend extra time in the underground corruption? Without the guide, the random drops from the enemies are meaningless to him, and all achievements are telling him to defeat the mech bosses. There is mention of wings as well, but they don't hint at where you would find souls of flight. Travis still has never seen a sky island and has never visited the space layer of the world. I'm saying all this because I'm wondering if there's a better way of leading the player through next steps in hard mode, or maybe it all just comes down to the persistent issue he's had, NPC housing, which just further cements how necessary it is for noobs to learn this mechanic, including the part about the corruption being a problem. Anyways, after explaining the issue and how to fix it to Travis, he checked out the map to see where to build his next village.
I kind of want to put it in candy cane land over with the gumdrop trees. It's not that far away. This way.
Is that where we're going to the candy
Yep.
can lane? Candy cane?
Yep.
Okay.
Candy
Struggling.
cane. Candyland.
Candyland.
Ha, now we're in Candy Cane Land. Does it have a real name?
Yes. You want to know
Will
it?
I ever figure it out what it is?
Unlikely.
Is there a way to lead without like reading wikis or something?
There is a way, yes.
Will I ever find it?
The odds are low.
Yeah. What's the name?
The Hollow.
The Hollow. Interesting.
His exact reason for building this next village in the sky, I'm unsure of. It's likely just out of fear that they would get corrupted like his previous houses. And somehow he actually taught me something about building. Turns out you can place stairs over torches, giving you a light source while also creating this little arch that looks like a support. Hanging out in the hollow also allowed him to interact with the enemies some more, and he really enjoyed the rainbow slimes.
We'll see if I got the recipe for the housing market correct. I can't remember if every table needs a door or every table needs 2 chairs, but we'll see.
Seeing his only remaining NPCs move here, he figured that he must have been right, and so no adjustments were made as he waited for more to spawn. And due to how town slimes and pets can spawn without their own individual houses, he was a little misled further into thinking his current setup was adequate.
Oh, Stratford the Nerdy Slime! The most useful NPC, Seamus the Elder Slime. Another slime? We have a slime family. Not quite what I was going for, but it works. Unless the guide is now a slime, that would be fun.
I wonder if the difference between regular NPCs and town slimes and pets ever confuses people. I don't think it's a major problem, but I don't doubt someone would be in Travis's position and think that they need individual houses for each town slime or something. As for Travis though, he was unsatisfied with only slimes showing up, and so slapped down some tables and chairs in an empty room he'd left, and the merchant showed up immediately. Figuring more NPCs would also spawn, he decided to head into a nearby cave. He'd never been in the underground hollow yet, but now he was curious if there was something down there.
Pink ice. Pink ice.
Don't eat the pink ice, kids.
These pixies are kind of nice for showing where the caverns are.
Yeah.
This actually reinforces the point that I made about Terraria's cave design. The Hollow is one of my favorite biomes design-wise because exploration is so much nicer. With crystals, pixies, and just about every enemy glowing, it's easy to find things and enemies. Not every biome should be like this, that'd be a bit overwhelming, but these differences make the Underground Hollow really stand out and offers lots for the new player to explore without fear of them having no idea where to go next.
Cobwebs!
He is called.
Is this where I lost my wife?
Oh no. He remembers that.
Of course I do. It was traumatic. Ooh, look at all these glowing purpley things. gem-looking things. I like. Oh, this is pretty down here.
Oh yeah, it's very nice.
Wow. Ooh, I could live down here. Crystal shard. Cool. I wonder how useful these are. I'd ask the guy, but he's not here.
Yeah.
Just gonna grab a few just to see. What are these? Illuminate bat, chaos elemental, and illuminate slime. Well, let's go kill him. I mean, say hi.
Nice.
Ice tortoise? What? You just can't get away from him.
I was wondering if you'd see him.
There's a soul of light down there. I don't have one of those. Well, let's go say hi to an ice tortoise and tell it who's boss.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. This is our world, dude. I don't know why he's glowing, but that's kind of cool. Oh, he died already? Poor thing. Armored Viking. Ah! Laser swords! Oh, these ice tortoises aren't as bad as the jungle tortoises.
I was hoping he'd stumble upon a gelatin crystal and end up fighting Queen Slime, and sure enough, he did mine a gelatin crystal, but with a full inventory, so he didn't pick it up. Did he see it? Maybe not, but even if he did, it's possible he thought it was just another regular crystal. He continued to encounter enemies he'd never seen before, and something down here clicked with admin type because he finally started recognizing and mining the stuff. He encountered Tim for the first time.
Tim! Stop it, Tim! Big jerk, Tim! Oh, ah! Okay, well the pirates just annihilated him. I didn't even get to interact. Poor fella.
Other than that, he found a few miscellaneous things such as an ice machine. He thought it was pretty cool, but was not able to craft anything. The reason being that all the ice he had was now pink ice, and perhaps weirdly, pink ice can't be used to craft furniture. So now Travis has no idea what the ice machine does despite having ice on him. Personally, I don't see why not make pink, red, and purple ice capable of crafting regular ice furniture. Sure, it's a different kind of block, but it'd be nice if these could also be used with the ice machine.
I don't know what the ice machine is for yet, but I have one. That makes me happy.
Now, we've been spending quite a long time in hard mode at this point while waiting for NPCs to spawn, and each time he goes exploring only to find nothing, that really helps. With the guide still not being around and Travis's confusion as to why more NPCs are not appearing, I decided to push him in the right direction again by telling him he needed to add doors, and then taught him how to use the house button to make inquiries as to whether a house is suitable. It's perhaps the most involved I've had to become up to this point, and it's for such a basic feature of the game. He was able to figure out some of the basics on his own and on accident, but ultimately Terraria just needs to help him out more with this, in my opinion. I don't even think a starting house would necessarily be all that needs to be done. It feels like there needs to be a step-by-step guide as to how to make houses and all the little details to keep in mind when making them. Terraria is great, but without the guide NPC, the wiki becomes necessary very quickly, and although the guide can give the player a good bit of information on how to make housing, it relies perhaps a bit too heavily on that guide being alive and being used without any sort of prompting. Maybe an achievement for talking with the guide or clicking through some 5 of his dialogues would be valuable.
What the?
What'd you find?
The goldfish over there?
Uh-huh.
I just watched it ascend, just float up through midair up here.
What?
I have no idea what I just saw.
Wow, magical, strange creatures they are.
Hey!
Hey, Brian!
Brian!
Man, I've got so many questions for you, dude. I don't even know where to start. Right.
Oh my goodness, I just watched it do it again!
The goldfish?
Yes!
Here's something relatable. Travis's houses are just 1 block different in size.
Oh, that's gonna bug me.
But hey, the guide is here, and you know how I just said there should be an achievement for talking to the guide? Well, perhaps that doesn't even work, because Travis did exactly this. He started talking to the guide and going through his help dialogue. This reminds us that once hard mode began, the guide became utterly useless, only telling Travis how to get all the other stupid NPCs. He clicked through a bunch of the hints, but quit once again, likely right before he got to anything useful, because what he was reading wasn't helpful, and some of the hints were for NPCs I think he'd even gotten before. Maybe they even moved in, but just aren't alive right now. Relogic, can we fix this please? Make it so the guide prioritizes hints relating to hard mode progression rather than NPCs. You know, When hard mode starts, noobs need that information a whole lot more. Miniature rant aside, the guide has returned, so he can now at long last figure out what to do with all the things he's been collecting. He checked out Souls of Light, Night, Crystal Shards, Adamantite Ore, and more, but ran into an issue with the crafting station the guide told him to use that I had to step in and correct.
Required objects mithril anvil. Is that the same as my?
That's the same as the one that you have.
Yeah, it's just orichalcum anvil. Yeah, it's just this world's version of mithril. That's annoying.
This is a legitimate problem, in my opinion. Travis put together that mithril and orichalcum were the same after some thinking, full props to him, but I don't believe that can or should be counted upon. The guide says any iron bar, when there's only lead and iron. Why not also say any mithril bar at the very least? Or even better, do what I suggested and say iron or lead, and I guess in this case, mithril or orichalcum. It's very easy to imagine a noob who gets orichalcum in their first world as their mid-tier ore, looks at this and never figures out what mithril is, or that their orichalcum anvil is the same thing without, I guess, eventually going to the wiki. If for no other reason, this should be changed to any mithril anvil for the sake of consistency. What he was looking for primarily were weapons, but of all the ones he saw, the meteor staff was the only one he saw that he knew he could craft without collecting any more materials. But he knows he needs an adamantite forge as well for adamantite gear, and is standing around a hell forge confused as to why he can't make the adamantite forge. So I reminded him of what the recipe for the adamantite forge was.
Oh, I can pick it up. Since when? Wow. Okay. There's so many things to keep track of.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's do this. Adamantite forge. And now I can make adamantite bars. Next level stuff. Yeah, buddy.
It's been a long road to get here, but he can finally craft adamantite gear. You know, once he has enough bars.
I need to get some more adamantite. So, we shall go a-mining.
He decided to go to a new area so he could explore and mine at the same time, but without Spelunker potions, he didn't find any ore at all.
Mining, we will go into this cursed cave.
It's just a regular cave. It's not cursed.
That's what you think.
Trying to remember what stuff looked like.
Adamantite?
That's what. Yes. I'll know it when I see it. Right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I think you will.
This is orichalcum, isn't it? Yeah. Not that. I don't want that. That's old. That's boring. Ooh, pie. Let's drop pie. Or the apple pie.
He did not, in fact, recognize adamantite when he saw it.
Oh, I have a spelunker potion. I should drink one.
Yeah, that would have been helpful. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go, right away.
Right there. See, brains, they begin to work eventually. I'm not used to having x-ray hacks. I mean, potions.
Now, Travis has been stupid lucky with many of his drops, but you have to be kidding me right now.
Okay, I'm gonna grab this one last vein, I think, down here. And then we can go up and make a full set. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and then tools and stuffs, you know.
Uh-huh.
I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, yeah. Then we'll go to the jungle again, I think.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that what you're going to do?
Maybe. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a plan.
Yep. That's
Because right now I don't have too many more theories, but I'm really excited about having stuff.
Yep. It's just one thing he can do. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's an option. Yep. Yep.
Hey, I got you home.
No.
I don't care. I'm not going to let him miss this thing.
That looks crazy. Ah! Okay. Wow. That's fun. I don't know how I would use it too much, but that's fun. Kind of novelty right now.
There are
But people build
strategy.
farms to try to find this.
Oh yeah.
Well, do you want to carry it? Because I'm probably not going to use it.
Sure.
Too much.
Funnily enough, Travis arrived to the same conclusion I've had about the Raw to Discord for a long time. Although fun, it's a little impractical. Very often I forget I have it and so don't use it, and if I'm teleporting to a cave I generally want to mine to it anyways so I can get to there in the future without needing to teleport every time. For bosses it can be useful for dodging, but again I often forget to use it and somehow I find myself being hit more often while trying to use it than when I just focus on following the boss's patterns. Considering its rarity, I've never found the rod something worthwhile to farm for and view it more as a cool novelty that's fun to play with if it ever happens to drop. Back to Travis, he gets full adamantite armor and the sword.
A hand bat is almost as good as my adamantite sword. I'm gonna smack something. I'm gonna smack something. Hiya! Yeah, I killed a thing with a piece of ham.
Something kind of humorous happened here. His Orichalcum sword had the Ruthless modifier, and because of this, it dealt quite a lot more damage than the Adamantite one he had. But knowing the Adamantite one should be better, he crafted it. What he figured he'd do is reforge it, but this created a strange problem because he thought the Tavern Keep was the one who did the reforging. Why? Because one of the Tavern Keep's names is Blacksmith. Now I don't know the reasoning behind his names, only that this is definitely confusing, and having the Tavern Keep's name be the name for different occupations confused Travis a few times so far. Is this really a problem? I don't think so, but Travis did get confused by what I have to assume is a joke or reference to something, knowing he wanted the NPC named Blacksmith. Did, however, lead him to do something good, build more houses, so he collected more wood before going over to add to the village.
I don't think I can make it. Oh no! Psych!
Oh no!
I'm gonna fall. I'm having so much fun with this.
See the goblin over here? Well, he's been here the whole time, but considering how his desire to get Blacksmith to spawn is resulting in him making more housing for more NPCs that could be quite helpful to him, I wasn't about to stop him. Although I did eventually hint towards the Goblin Taker being the reforging guy, but he brought almost no money with him and so could reforge exactly once to get the exact luck you'd expect. But he made many more houses, ended up with the Pirate and Witch Doctor, who he'd never seen before, but wasn't interested in anything they sold. We did see our levitating fish friend again, though.
Oh, he's levitating! I saw it!
Oh, I'm gonna do it again.
Ah, he's back up there.
What?
What is happening?
Oh,
Oh, he's down here now.
Oh, what?
He's back up.
What?
Oh, weird.
What? Oh, this is so weird.
Can I hit him?
Oh.
Okay, I can.
Well, he was a special fish.
He was.
The progress is still very slow going. He's gradually moving in the right direction in many ways. Like, I'm not sure why, but he decided to pull out the ancient horn he'd obtained quite a bit earlier and started using it, quickly growing to like how fast it is and that it does ramming damage. Considering how he doesn't even have Hermes boots, this will be a big help for him, especially as he travels through the jungle. Now that he has access to Adamantite, he assumes the new, stronger pickaxe could mine the green ore he'd found in the jungle.
No.
This is my unofficial petition for something to be added to Terraria to make the titanium and adamantite pickaxes useful for something. I don't know what, and I don't care what, but I want them to be capable of mining something between Orichalcum and Mithril pickaxes in the Drax. Now, he still explored the jungle a bit after discovering this and started theorizing.
I did have another theory that I wanted to test out.
Oh?
I was wondering why that one part of the world turned into the Pearlstone nice land. And I was curious as if it was because I took out some demon altars or something. Enough demon altars. I don't know. Or if it was because we took out the Wall of Flesh, that major boss. I don't know. But the corruption started spreading a lot more once I defeated the Wall of Flesh. So it would be silly for those two to correlate together. You remove corruption and allow it to spread even more.
This is a mildly unique situation in that Travis happened to get a hollow that spawned on top of a large chunk of one of his corrupt biomes. This does not always happen, but it's not uncommon either. His rationale makes a whole lot of sense too. The hollow looks like a purified version of the corruption in many ways. So believing that killing the wall couldn't both cause corruption to spread and spawn the corruption purifying biome makes a lot of sense. Do I think anything needs to be changed here? Again, no, not really, or at least nothing I can think of, but there are a lot of situations where a new player could be confused. This didn't happen to Travis, but say their hollow spawns entirely over the jungle or tundra. That would leave a new player with zero surface hollow to work with and result in much less of a noticeable difference in hard mode, especially if it spawns primarily over the jungle. It also locked them out of certain drops depending on how the hollows spawn. For Travis, he isn't being hurt by his misinterpretation, but other players in those situations, they could be hurt by their lack of knowledge in what the hollow is and how beneficial it may or may not be to them. I think it'd be wise to try and make it so at least half a hollow always affects regular forest, or actually also the corruption. It could do one or the other, so you don't run the risk of not having a hollow surface at all. It's not the end of the world if you don't get one, but if nothing else, as a veteran of the game, I find it annoying myself whenever I have zero hollow grass and have to make my own. Now Travis did go on to break a few more altars, but of course nothing changed.
Oh.
Hello, it's a unicorn.
That was not a unicorn.
Was it not? Was it a wolf?
It was a wolf.
Oh, okay. It's just a large creature, and I'm more used to unicorns than wolves at the moment. Look, it's a wolf.
A few more NPCs had spawned, like the party girl and angler. He had a lot of fun reading the angler's dialogue and was interested in the quest, but since he didn't know how to fish, he ignored him. He also rather enjoyed playing with the beach ball I had purchased. Now, all of the discoveries he has made recently have helped him make small steps towards defeating the mechs, but he's about 14 or 16 hours in a hard mode and still not where he needs to be, and he recognizes this as well. He still feels like he can't take on the mechs because the weapon upgrades he has made haven't made a very large difference in their damage numbers. Despite being very lucky with certain things, he hasn't had any luck with special weapon drops, leaving him with mostly the ore swords and pre-hard mode gear against bosses. That combined with it not occurring to him to make an arena and still not knowing about the Tinker's Workshop puts him in a spot where he could theoretically kill a boss with proper prep, but has none of the knowledge needed to actually do this prep. A ranged weapon will be a big help for him, but I think he's missed the fact that he can make ore bows because of one thing: their name.
Well, I feel like we made a sizable dent on the dude. What's the best bow that I can make?
Is the term repeater a well-known term? I've never heard of it outside of Terraria, and Travis just about never learned about the hard mode or bows because of this word. Why are they not just called bows? Or even crossbows? The only reason he ended up making an adamantite repeater at all was because the sprite looked kind of like a crossbow. It's great that it does, but I can't help but wonder why not change the name so as to avoid this confusion. Doing some research, I could find a weapon called a repeating crossbow, which seems to be the inspiration for these weapons, but let's be honest, calling these crossbows would be much easier to understand. He figured having a ranged weapon would be a help against the boss like the twins, but they ultimately didn't do much for him. And if you're wondering why he isn't using the meteor staff, I couldn't tell you. I think he's just forgotten about the weapon altogether.
Oh, no! Don't die, don't leave me! I can't heal!
Run, Travis, no!
With another loss to the mechs, it came time for me to become involved once again. After struggling for so very long, he reached the point that he's at a total loss as to what he could do and asked for some advice. As far as I see it, he has three main problems. His accessories are quite poor, he barely has an arena, and he would greatly benefit from strong ranged or mage weapons. Not wanting to spell it out to him per se, I point out to him that his accessories are materials and encourage him to give more hard mode drops to the guide, as well as anything else that says it's a material. He checked out a few things already, primarily souls, but not much else. After everything that's happened so far, I imagine hard mode is the point in the game that the new player most commonly finds themselves looking up a wiki on next steps. Pre-hard mode helps lead the player through progression through natural exploration, but in hard mode, progression is done in an entirely different way. Rather than explore, you need to focus primarily on getting strong, and that is a far less intuitive thing to new players. Sure, exploring again is most of what you need to do, but the use of these new areas and enemies is entirely foreign to the new player, and often the only reason you go to these different locations is to farm a specific item or weapon. Plus, a lot of pre-hard mode you can clear using only the ores you mine in the caves, while in hard mode, those ores will get you good armor and decent weapons, but are often not enough to get past even the first major hurdle hurdle in the mechs. Hard mode requires a lot more research, whether using the game's mechanics or a wiki to figure out how to truly become powerful. He ended up spending the next hour mostly going through his gear and figuring out what can be crafted. His only struggle being he doesn't know about the Tinker's Workshop. I'm still unsure how he missed it, and the blame for missing it has to be put entirely on him because there are only 4 items in the Goblin's shop, and he did actually spend some time looking at the Goblin's shop a couple of times. Part of me thinks the workshop should also be craftable with shadow scales or tissue samples. You can make it really expensive to craft, but since it's so important, giving the new player more ways of finding it could be a good idea. That or make it so more NPCs sell more obviously useful things, just generally speaking. Travis has skimmed over several shops and entirely ignored others. I could try to think of a reason why, but I think in the end it's just that Terraria has so much stuff going on. He never knows what to look at, pay attention to, or what is actually important. There is a lot of fluff and extraneous stuff to keep yourself busy with in this game, which is fun and all, but makes it harder to understand for someone like Travis what is, actually useful. Information overload is a consistent theme in Travis's struggles, and around this time he actually told me he got a notepad to write down the things he wanted to craft from the guide. This is a good idea, but also a little lame that it has become necessary. Now, in his searching for the Tinker's Workshop, he came up with a good idea to try and find it, even if the idea was totally wrong. To try and find the Tinker's Workshop, Travis started doing something that has proven very helpful for him up to this point. He opened the map and started hovering his mouse over points of interest to see if he could find the workshop without needing to run all over the place. He was smart enough to search for the workshop inside treasure rooms where he'd seen furniture before. Again, it's his fault for missing the workshop that the goblin sells, but this is an interesting method he used to try and find it. I came really close to just telling him the answer, but then he said,
I can't remember if it was something I could buy off of one of these guys. That'd be my next theory. Or if it's craftable with stuff that I have. I can't remember that either.
He searched the dungeon using the map as well, which is smart. He found some helpful furniture there before, after all. He checked everything he could craft with what he's got on hand, and still nothing, so he equipped the basilisk and ran off to check the NPCs.
Alright, people.
Oh, that was smooth.
Alright. We're here. Who are you? I don't remember Kung you, sir. I've never met you. Isis the Dryad is a kindred spirit of nature, and my soul is at peace in their presence. Oh my goodness. So you are, sir, are in the worst area possible for your peace of mind. Oh.
He did end up purchasing a fountain from the witch doctor.
All right. It's a puking unicorn. That's adorable.
I'm glad he didn't figure out the goblin so quickly, because now he's checking out more of the NPCs like the mechanic. One thing he's been wanting is a way to teleport to his floating village from spawn, but since pylons are no help to him at this time, he saw the teleporter and his interest was piqued.
Hiya! Ah! No. Okay, well this is a cool idea, but does it need a power source, lady? I don't know. Switch? Lever? Wire? Cutter?
He tried to figure it out for a bit, but decided he should focus on the Tinker's Workshop for now. I find it more than possible he'll figure out wiring, because he has seen it before in the game after picking up a dart trap near a trap chest, so he knows that there is some redstone system, as he described it. It's just a matter of whether he puts the pieces together and is motivated enough to figure it out. While talking to the wizard, he remembered some weapon recipes from earlier that required spell tomes. At long last, he came to the Goblin Tinkerer.
Rocket Boots Ruler's Tinker's Workshop. There we go.
He found it.
Got it.
He crafted accursed flames and got to work on upgrading his accessories, which I figured would give him a massive boost. But barely anything changed, and that's largely due to the fact he hasn't found Sky Islands yet and has no rocket boots. The Horseshoe Balloon and Spectre Boots, I think, are two of the most meaningful accessories any noob could obtain. Wings could replace the Horseshoe Balloon for a noob, but also require he starts exploring space. I'm still surprised he has never tried a gravitation potion, as I would think it'd just be fun to try, and he's even seen a hint or two on loading screens mentioning Sky Islands, yet he's never gone searching for them. I think Terraria does a good job pointing the player towards searching the skies in subtle ways, but maybe an extra method or two could be handy. For example, what if every world generated with at least least one mountain or hill that reaches high enough for harpies to spawn, just so the player can get feathers and use them to learn about the existence of souls of flight, and perhaps later fight a wyvern on this mountain. It'd also be cool just to have a mountain-themed biome in the game, but at the same time, I could see this potentially becoming a nuisance to old players who feel the need to bulldoze these things if their arenas are nearby, and this could really shake up the world generation. It's just an idea that solves a problem that I don't think is a major issue, as I have little doubt that most people with a curious mind at some point in the game will end up high enough to encounter these enemies. Meanwhile, Travis is fully capable of not only crafting Spectre but lightning boots, and even wrote it down as something he wants on his notepad. He is fully aware of his need for rocket boots, but has somehow already forgotten where to get them despite hovering his mouse over them in the Tinkerer's shop multiple times. The fact that these boots haven't stuck out to him has me scratching my head once again, because as a man incapable of flight, I would think that the term rocket boots would stand out a bit more. And to be clear, this is Travis's problem once again, not Terraria's. So with some marginal changes made to his accessories, he crafts a star cannon and returns to the guide to see if he's missing something, and came so very close to a major discovery.
Okay. Bottles aren't used for crafting potions.
You know, that's actually pretty important. Any player can naturally find bottles, but the only way to get bottled water is to craft it. And why would a new player assume potions required bottled water as opposed to just regular bottles? At the same time, there are so many materials used in various potions that if he had given any of them to the guide, he could have learned of this requirement. Maybe adding bottled water as possible loot from the occasional chest could be helpful, as I'm sure plants are one thing lots of people deem to be largely useless at first glance. But so long as a player knows about the guide's crafting option, there is ample opportunity to learn how to make potions, and they aren't exactly necessary in classic mode. He tried and failed to get the teleporter to work again and got another unfavorable reforge. My hope was that he would have learned more and crafted more after getting the Tinker's Workshop, but ultimately, little has changed, and he knows it.
Feel better prepared or about the same?
No, not really. I haven't had a recent attempt on the worm. It seems a little bit more simpler than the skull and the eye to me. So let's do that. Try out some new stuff. I don't think I want to use the star cannon yet.
Okay.
Because I'm not confident in that.
Before summoning the thing, his luck shines through once again.
I picked up a corruption key somewhere.
Oh, you got a corruption key. Cool.
Cursed by a powerful jungle creature. So, that'll be interesting to try to figure out where that goes.
He figured the key had something to do with the jungle temple, which, considering the tooltip mentioning a jungle creature, makes an awful lot of sense. I also think it's great that these keys very clearly point to the jungle, so the player knows they must accomplish something there before they can be used, and so they don't waste a bunch of their time trying to find a use for it. I fully suspect he'll search for something in the jungle temple to use this thing on, but since the game will point him to the dungeon after Plantera, I think Terraria does a good job at directing the player with these keys. Back to the Destroyer, he takes a good long look at his potions to see what would be helpful, and had at least a few that would be good for him. It's just a little late to fight.
Well, I guess since it will be daytime soon and I have a new key with the theory that it goes to the jungle, let's try that. We're still looking at ways to boost my damage and defense. Oh, I want to figure out that teleportation thing sometime too. I have those couple teleportation pads.
Right.
But I don't know if it's a wiring thing. I suspect it might be. Turtle! So cute! You are green? You green turtle? Is that blue? That's green.
Looks green, yeah.
I guess they're all green. For some reason, I was looking for like a red bandana or something.
I just think it's like Raphael from Ninja Turtles. Like,
yeah, I know. I just realized. Oh yeah, we're down here. I need a key. I wonder if there's any extra clues. What is it? Does it say anything? No, it says I need a red square key thing. So it actually lets me know what I need.
I guess he did end up wasting a little time due to the key, but only because he was looking to burn some time, so no harm done, and he learned pretty quickly that he couldn't use the key here anyways. He did happen to encounter a few lizard people though, nothing really of note, but he saw them, so with nothing learned and nothing gained, night was falling.
Okay, nighttime it is! You know what that means?
Time to destroy.
Destroy.
Mechanical
Kill.
menace.
Yes.
Ah.
We're gonna do the worm. Ready?
It's ready as all over me.
Alright, worm.
Oh boy.
Oh, come up here, worm. What are you doing down there? You're not. Egg.
Oh. He's going to get him. Uh-oh. There's some rope for you.
You're awesome.
Don't forget to heal if you haven't already.
Yeah, okay. Whoop. Wow,
There you
there's
go.
so much stuff going on. The hole's too small. Nope.
Oh, not so much anymore. Oh no. No, Travis! Oh, he's so
What?
low. He's so low.
Oh!
No! We'll give you one more shot on this guy.
Yeah. I'm coming back.
Come a little bit your way.
Okay, I'll just hit him over here. These silly eyeballs are annoying. Ow, I'm confused. Is there a quick key for healing?
H.
H. That would make sense.
Yeah. I want to get up here once he's out of your way. Ooh, that looks like good damage.
Whoa.
Oh. Get the hearts. Get the hearts.
There's hearts. Where?
I think there's some up there.
I can't see. Oh, over there. Gimme. Thank you.
Oh, he's coming your way.
Who put this floor here? Who thought this was a good idea? Okay, come on. No. There we are. Just. Oh, we got it! What? Woo. How? That's crazy. Got hallowed bars. Oh yeah, that's a thing. That is big.
At long last, a mech has fallen. 20 hours into hard mode and his first mech has been defeated. He spent nearly half of his time in the game trying to beat these things. Now, admittedly, for this battle, I decided to help a little bit more than I had before, and I'm at war with whether or not I should have done that. On one side, I still made sure he put in a lot or most of the work defeating the thing. On the other hand, I wonder if helping as much as I did will prevent him from learning how to better handle bosses. Primarily, will he ever think to make an arena? That alone, I think, could have allowed him to solo these bosses, but it hasn't occurred to him. Let me know your thoughts. I also had to point out to him that these souls might dropped because they appeared in a weird spot, which has me thinking that classic mode mechs not having a treasure bag can actually be quite detrimental to the noob's experience, because if the souls drop in an unfavorable spot, then it's very possible they'll never notice they were dropped in the first place. After all, they are the first and only bosses who have a drop that floats in place, and it's very possible they won't know these souls drop from these bosses at all. I'm not sure why classic mode makes it so treasure bags don't drop, other than holding on to a little bit of that original Terraria blood, and maybe making it more balanced for multiplayer, but I think it could be more beneficial to just add the bags in classic mode, and if you don't want treasure bags for each player, then maybe make it so it drops just one bag, but maybe that's confusing with coding or something. With the new materials dropped from the destroyer, he heads to Brian, the guide.
What can I do with cheeseburgers? Solarmite. I can put it in a bottle. Booyah. True Knight's Edge. Knight's Edge. Drax.
You remember the achievement for the Drax, so thankfully that has stuck in his mind. All in all, he was most interested in the Drax, Mega Shark, and Light Discs, but more important than any of that, while he was checking things out, a certain NPC appeared.
Cynthia the Steampunker. More people showing up?
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia, you're new. Welcome to this place. Oi, what you got in your Jiminy Fluffer? Is that like my wallet? Creates and destroys biomes when sprayed. Hot.
I nearly punched a hole through my monitor. Two things. First, the jetpack, because that's quick. But Travis particularly seems opposed to fuel-induced movement because he hovered over and read out the names of rocket boots and the jetpack, and both times went on his merry way without giving them a second thought, despite the fact he has actually been looking for rocket boots. I was so hopeful he would finally get some wings of some sort by buying the jetpack. But no, this isn't Terraria's fault. Again, it's his, and I don't know what's blinding him to these things. The second thing is more reasonable though. The Contaminator. This device could save his world and clean up the corruption that has plagued his run thus far. But he was confused by the wording creates and destroys biomes. Now, this phrasing I think makes a lot of sense, especially after the 1.4.4 update, where you can do a lot more with it, including turning sand to snow. It makes a lot of sense, but I do wonder if it should also say something about purification. Maybe even replace destroying biomes with purifying or cleaning. Here's my reasoning. Although this phrasing might be slightly less informative as to all of its functions, it is more appealing to a new player who at this point has noticed the corruption spread and wishes to stop it. Something that purifies or cleans biomes would hopefully ring a bell in their head, leading them to buy it and try it out. Now the solution they get could be anything, like in Travis's case it's blue solution, not green. But even this is better than corruption if he ends up concluding he can only turn things into hollow. The reason I think saying purify or clean rather than destroy or create is better, so the player is more likely to use the thing in the first place. Once it's used, they will hopefully stumble upon more solutions and experiment with it more, but the important thing is they can remove the corruption, which I think really is the main function of this device. The same conclusion could perhaps be arrived to with the current wording, but this proposal of mine I think could be a little more noob friendlier. I also wonder if create or destroy biomes might make a noob think that the Contaminator deletes and creates blocks. I could totally see someone read destroy biomes and assume it's a mass destruction tool. As for the hollowed bars he just obtained, maybe he can make some better gear for himself. He nearly skipped past hollowed armor entirely, but when he stopped and looked, this was actually the first time he truly took notice of the different headsets that you can make, although for a little while he thought the mage one was the only one that he could make. And something I never realized, but the defense of melee hollowed armor and melee adamantite armor are the same, and since that's the main thing Travis and I imagine most noobs look at, he wasn't very inclined to make hollowed armor, which is a fair point. A lot of armors, their set bonus is, well, what makes them the most worthwhile, but Travis has no idea what those are, so why waste the bars that he does have for something that he might not like, which is further reinforced by the fact that there are very limited bars that you get in classic mode, because the mechs drop fewer bars for some reason. I can't fathom the reason for this, but can say that it sure limits the noob's capacity to make new things and experiment without extra farming, which so far hasn't been Travis's thing. Of all the things he saw, what stood out most to him was the Durandal. He couldn't tell what kind of weapon it was because he hasn't used a whip before, but also Durandal doesn't exactly scream whip unless there's some meaning I'm missing. Most summoners would already be familiar with how the stats read, and the sprite is similar enough, so I don't think it needs to be changed, just that the road Travis took here led to some confusion or perhaps just increased interest.
Tag damage. Tag, you're it. Okay. What? I was not expecting that. Hiya! Alright, here's some slimes out here. Wow! It's kind of like a shotgun effect. A little bit of AoE on it. Well, I have another boss in my inventory. Let's go summon that and play with my new tool.
He accidentally summoned the Eye of Cthulhu instead of the twins, and then, when he did summon the twins, he was doing a lot better until second phase.
Yes, die! Die! Oh, now it has teeth.
Oh no, he's getting toasted.
So he failed, but he remembered that Adamantite had multiple headpieces as well, and with his swords and whip not working too well against the eye, he considered making the ranged Adamantite mask, but he doesn't have enough Adamantite and doesn't know he can uncraft the one he does have in the shimmer he found. So he went mining and decided to mine somewhere he hadn't been before, which just so happens to be the top half of the underground desert, which sure isn't going to get him very far. He spent the entire day not finding Adamantite, but he did find another snake charmer's flute, which he handed to me, and turns out spamming this thing is problematic on Terraria servers because it kicked me for cheating. With no changes made other than the scenery, we're off to fight the twins again.
There's so many things happening I can't tell if I'm actually doing damage.
Uh-oh. Look out!
He's vomiting! Wow, stop puking. That's gross, dude.
Yeah, it's super gross, man.
I really like riding on the Basilisk. This makes it nice.
Yeah. Nice
Way
and
more
speedy.
mobility.
Yeah.
Hey, Why are you running so far away? Come back.
Oh no, it's day.
What?
I told him there was a way to tell time, but before I could tell him about watches, he remembered he'd gotten a grandfather clock or two while exploring, and so placed one down. He wishes he could tell time elsewhere, but since this problem has more or less been resolved, and he more or less did it on his own, I decided not to explain that there are watches. He spent that day in a much better cave and found plenty of adamantite, only to not make the mask he was mining the stuff for, but he's doing fine.
Focusing.
Oh, look out, look out.
Oh, don't puke. It's gross. Stop it. Ew.
Ooh.
Whoa, that was a good dodge. I did it again.
Nice. Oh no.
And I just stand in front of him. Oh, he's got a laser eye now. Oh, now we're down to one.
Just one.
I can't see. There's too much going on. Just keep swimming. Okay, come on. 200 health left.
Hey!
Got him.
He saw two weapons he was interested in, with the rainbow rod in particular being interesting due to it being an achievement, so he made that and one other thing.
Oh, the baby little eyeball twins. Those twins. That's cool. Okay. Now that we have these creepy flying eyeballs with guns and teeth, let's shoot a rainbow!
With these upgrades, Skeletron Prime became the next victim, at long last finally conquering all three of the mech bosses. The only question was whether he'd noticed the text saying the jungle grows restless. He did not, and that could be a bit of an issue for a new player. How are they supposed to know where to go next if they miss that? Actually, what would a noob do if they did miss that? I guess if they did, then the only thing pointing them in the right direction is the achievements, but after how much he's struggled so far, I decided to tell him to check the chat box.
Jungle grows restless. Ah! Quintera over there now. We defeated this boss, now the next ones are ready to go.
And that's how Travis finally defeated the mech bosses. Over 20 hours in hard mode, and frankly, he hasn't progressed all that much. And despite defeating the mechs, his gear isn't exactly great. The pre-mech stage really is a strange beast, with there being a lot you can do, craft and explore, but little to no direction is given as to how to get any of these things. It really is the point of the game where Terraria expects you to have figured things out, but perhaps it's a little too optimistic to think that. Maybe there needs to be some more pointing the player to where you need to go, or maybe things should stay as they are and the player just needs to figure things out. I guess it just depends on the person, even if I'd argue some hints, even if they are very vague, would be beneficial. Anyways, be sure to subscribe. There's no telling when Travis will manage to finally beat the game, and I'm sure you won't want to miss it when he does. And depending on what happens next, there might be 1 or 2, maybe 3 more videos, so subscribe so you don't miss his next adventure, and you can watch one of his other adventures right here.